Oh, hello there. Yes, I just wanted to do a follow-up to the video I did this morning. Alex Phillips is being interviewed by the New Culture Forum. Hello, I'm Peter Whittle at large. I just wanted to sort of like compare and contrast in terms of what was said at the video this morning about the elites and the very odd things that they believe. Leaving aside the odd placements in the background, this morning they said about elites having intellectual elites rather than physical things, and yet there's some, I don't know, look like Play-Doh Grecian sculptures in the background. It's quite strange. But anyway, let's listen to Alex Phillips and then we'll think about what it is, the odd beliefs that she's coming out with.
I was sitting there thinking, well, the 2 points that I went on to make, that I wanted to make, one was all of the things in the trade and cooperation agreement, the oven-ready deal, that are preventing us from diverging from Brussels regulatory orbit and doing things like putting state funding into critical sectors or cutting VAT, cutting corporation tax, so on and so forth. So one, I wanted to talk about that, and that is totally true. Anyone can open up the TCA and see for themselves and look up the paragraphs on subsidies and see that we're not allowed to, as a nation, to favour British industries or to give ourselves a competitive advantage through state subsidy. And then the other point I was making was we were talking about how the government seems to have found down the back of the sofa 6,000 regulations, of which 400 they're earmarking for abolition. And yeah, that sounds good. It might make a decent headline, but the truth is it's 260,000 EU regulations that made it onto UK statute. And Mr. Campbell was trying to argue that, well, Parliament voted on all of this. We had a say, we had sovereignty here, which is patently untrue. If we could pick and choose whether we follow those regulations or not, there was not even a debate about Brexit, is there? Because there'd be no need for it. And he knows this full well. Anybody knows that, actually. Anybody with half a brain who's...
Well, yes, indeed. Anyone with half a brain knows that that's not true. Except, of course, it really is. And here is this monumental, monolithic dishonesty, which Alistair Campbell, when he spoke to her last week, was having a go at. Here's somebody that campaigned for Brexit and spent several years telling us about how wonderful it was going to be. It isn't wonderful. But magically, the reason why it isn't wonderful is when she was talking about Brexit, she meant a completely different Brexit from the one we've got now. And it's everybody else's fault. It's not her fault or the other Brexiteers. It's something, 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 something. And, you know, this notion about, for example, with EU laws, well, there's all these EU laws we need to get rid of. Has anyone in her position actually explained why we need to get rid of these laws? There's deafening silence about quite why it is that we need to get rid of them. Well, we need to get rid of them because they mean that workers get things like statutory holidays or maternity leave. And again, intellectual dishonesty and these nefarious ideas which, despite any notion of reality, will be pushed through to the detriment of ordinary people, which is where this morning's video came in, obviously. Anyway, let's carry on with her.
Of substance, and this idea that somehow, you know, all of this is an illusion and Brexiteers have been lying, and you hear people sort of talking falsehoods essentially on air and then yelling at you that you're the liar. It makes me despair. And I find that same narrative is back again now when the topic of Brexit comes up. Everyone is so quick to say, oh, it's failed, look how bad it's affecting the economy. And I'm like, how is it affecting the economy badly when nothing's actually happened?
Yes, exactly.
Nothing of any pertinence, nothing of any import has actually taken place. We've not exercised a single bit of sovereignty, particularly.
Yes, there you have it. The intellectual enormous intellectual dishonesty that's an operation there. And she lives in this totally isolated world whereby she's given this platform to continue spouting something that is patently nonsense by people in positions of power. One might call them the elites, if you like. Yeah? And she bears no responsibility and suffers no consequences for any of her actions. And here she is being given this sympathetic platform. All of those things that in this morning's video the right wing were complaining about. And yet here it is on display. The intellectual dishonesty and snobbery of the elites. They haven't got what they wanted. Everything's gone wrong. Their ideas are bankrupted and patently wrong. And it's someone else's fault. It's just, I don't know, it's beyond laughable. It's just desperately sad because we live with these consequences. Yeah? We live with them. She doesn't.